Hello everybody and welcome back to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 14 Week 1. It's the big finale. Thug Wood and the Thug Chans taking on Aqua and Hunger Forcestaff. I'm alone again. Last time, Aqua and Hunger Forcestaff were unfortunately quite uncoordinated.
10 seconds remaining.
This time, let's see how things go. I definitely immediately see where the upside is on Aqua Teen. Maybe it's an issue of having two stand-ins on their lineup here. I do feel like if, in a more organized setting, perhaps this doesn't happen.
10 seconds.
There's clear upside.
Radiant team back.
Everyone on Aqua Teen did at least modestly okay in their lanes.
Radiant team pick.
Again with the Beast ban. What's with the Beast?
Dire team pick.
Immediate first pick Undying, getting that over the Phoenix. Gets immediately countered out with the Snapfire, pretty much exactly what you expect. I think like 60% of Dota games start like this. And then, well no, 40% of Dota games start like this, 60% start with first pick Marcy.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
There is one great upside to Undying, perhaps you could say, or downside to the Snapfire counter. This is definitely
Crystal Maiden.
Crystal Maiden, okay. It's definitely a hero that I feel like makes your team quite a lot less strategically flexible. Snapfire is not really a hero that can kind of stand up entirely on her own merits.
10 seconds.
You know, she needs minimum somebody to go good with the cookie, or somebody to go good with the ult. Rather the ult than the cookie, ideally, as well. Meaning that in a situation like this, where you've basically had to pick her specifically for anti-tombstone duties, okay, I kinda didn't get the Mars pick last time, I like super don't get it now. Picking Mars against Snapfire, that just seems a little loco to me. I don't know. No Void, by the way, again, knocking out the Void here. I feel like Void has like a really disproportionately high ban rate this season compared to how many people actually pick him and play him regularly. I swear I've seen at least one Void ban basically every game I've recorded so far this season.
Radiant team ban.
And by every game I mean once per series, I should clarify. No Arc Warden, again, very similar on the ban list this time, though the pick list so far, for the most part, quite different.
Ten seconds remaining.
I'll tell you this much. Snapfire and Crystal Maiden, I'm not a big fan of that support duo there on Aqua Teen. It's too much of the good stuff. I talked last time about how Warlock and Witch Doctor, their upsides weren't really redundant compared to each other. Snapfire and Crystal Maiden, on the other hand, yeah, kinda. You get a guy with a lot of magic resist already, like you get... I doubt anyone's a real Elder Titan god on Thug Wood, don't get me wrong. You pick up somebody like an ET, you pick up somebody like a Viper. Pick up, Pipe of Insight. I feel like you've just eliminated like 70% of Aqua Teen's damage. On top of that, as they have realized here, they're definitely making themselves very weak to the magic immunity cores. Like a Pangolier pick here would be very strong for them. Jug pick, if it wasn't banned, would have been pretty strong for them. I think a Drow actually wouldn't have been bad either. Lifestealer is of course always on the menu. I know he's not very popular right now, but there's an option for you.
5 seconds remaining.
I believe Jackie Chan, known Lifestealer player. Certainly surrounds himself with known Lifestealer players, I can tell you that much. He's certainly picking it a lot when he was captaining. No Monkey King. That Monkey King really shocked him there. It was definitely a good performance. The post-match on the on... God damn, I keep saying it. On
10
Thugwood.
seconds remaining.
I didn't mention this, and I don't know if I really gave it as much
5
detail,
seconds
but
remaining.
as I should have. But I think Jackie Chan definitely played out the Monkey King very, very well there. Aside from just a couple of moments where it's just, you know, temporary lapses in judgment. In particular, I think he ran the very, very mean lane phase, which kind of gave them a bit of a boost for the rest of the game, frankly. You know, Dawnbreaker was always kind of lagging behind a little bit. It felt like compared to the cores she was around, and the way that Diva D decided to build Dawn in that particular game ended up kind of playing to that. You know, Diva D kind of picking Dawnbreaker with a sort of long-term strategy. Felt like Diva expected to win that lane. Built around winning that lane, and that just didn't happen. She just kind of died like 2 or 3 times and ended up with a pretty low last hit count.
Radiant team pick.
Got a Night Stalker. Give you an example of a good hero against Mars. We got the Night Stalker. Against Undying is a very interesting story. Very much depends on how Night Stalker is actually playing. He can either easily address the Undying, or Undying can be his worst nightmare.
5 seconds remaining.
Talked about that matchup, I believe, in one of the Dragon Ball Zeus matches, where Rado was playing him. And what we saw in that game was that Night Stalker, unfortunately, could not even think about the Undying even a little bit, and, well, it ultimately didn't end up mattering much anyway, because that team was getting so stomped in that particular game that most fights were over by, like, the 3rd decay in Undying's favor, which is not usually a position that that particular hero gets to be in, but certainly was a lot that game. Mirana! Well, we know the Hollywood hero here. Very interesting to me how Bonus did not elect to ban any of the signature Hollywood heroes. I feel like that's, I don't know, I feel like so far in this season we haven't really been seeing a lot of that, which is interesting because, you know, historically you've seen like,
5 seconds remaining.
last season you saw a few fly his way. Season prior, you saw quite a few fly his way, as far as the bans goes. 13 and 12.
Slog.
This season, so far, it seems like he's gotten one of his signatures and the one he wanted in basically every match. Slark's an interesting hero here. I don't know. I don't think I like Slark against the Night Stalker, to be honest with you. I don't think a hero who's able to, especially with the cookie stun, which, by the way, there you go for Snapfire. I mean, they were tactically inflexible enough they had to pick somebody like Night Stalker, but they got the somebody like Night Stalker now. That's a great cookie character. One of the ones that takes it, like I said before, every time I talk about the Grimstroke Inkswell, I think the Snapfire cookie, very much the same, of course. It is a lot better to take it from 0 to 1 than from 1 to 2. It's very much an exponential increase in power. Night Stalker is one of those 0 to 1 guys. Anti-Mage. Huh? Okay, that one's a little weird. I guess I can kind of see it. No, I don't think I can, actually. Just the more I look at it. He's unlikely to build BKB, so Undying Decay is going to be falling on his head a lot. He's going to be able to blink out of the arena, but certainly not if he gets Mirana arrowed. Or, And against Slark... I don't know. I feel like Anti-Mage here would be a really good pick if he was like a super counter to Slark. If it was like, oh, Slark's horrible against Anti-Mage. He's like... I don't know. I feel like in my head that's like a fairly equivalent matchup. I don't know. I don't really get the Anti-Mage pick here. Sniper got banned out. The Sniper last game definitely made some impact on that Thugwood lineup. Again, getting rid of the Druid. Interestingly, we're getting both the same sides and the same pick order for both teams in this game, which means that somebody elected to take first pick, or somebody elected to go, presumably Dire, over Radiant. Which Which means either, yeah. Either
Radiant
way,
team pick.
kind of an interesting scenario there. Somebody elected to take an unorthodox course of action here. Doubt it's Thugwood opting to take first pick, because so far they haven't. Oh, shout outs to the train. So far they haven't really taken full advantage of that per se. Undying, you know, when you want to take first pick, you want to take like a really, really overpowered hero. You know, Undying is quite strong in this patch, and he's definitely a very good first pick. But I feel like if you're electing to take the first pick, it's not just falling into your lap. You know, you want to spice it with like the Marcy or like something like that, something of that caliber. The Marcy, the Pudge. Thinking over on Thugwood. There's one thing I like. I do think this is a much better lineup for Mars to be a part of than the last game, though this is definitely so far a very BKB and you're invincible type lineup for Aqua Teen to be facing. So far, if Night Stalker and Anti-Mage, though Anti-Mage is kind of loath to do it, if Night Stalker and Anti-Mage buy BKB, there's really not a lot anybody on Thugwood can kind of do to him here. Hey, you know, in hindsight, I know we're still in this phase and we haven't even looked at the game yet. In hindsight, I'm already kind of thinking I wish maybe the picks were reversed for Aqua Teen's Boss 1, where you had the Anti-Mage in Game 1 and the Ursa here. Bloodseeker, huh? Yeah, I can see that. It's gonna make life pretty hard for the Night Stalker in particular. Alright, I can see that too. That's gonna make life hard for Slark. He's definitely somebody who's also kind of at Bloodseeker risk, though. Having to stand still is not what you want to do right after you hit that W on Necro. And that just might be what you get with a Bloodseeker on the other team. Especially if that Bloodseeker can force you to either move around, take a bunch of damage, or stand still, get silenced. Not the best for Necro. I don't think it's a worse matchup either. In particular, I feel like if Bloodseeker is not able to drop the ult on him, that Bloodseeker's just going to kind of get his rear end kicked. So they have kind of set up a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario between the two heroes. Like if you rupture the Necro, you haven't ruptured the Night Stalker. He's got some more free reign and isn't really afraid of the silence. Well, he's still got to be a little afraid of the silence, I guess, because he's got the Slark Pounce and, you know, and all that, but either way. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of this Thugwood lineup. But I feel like Aqua Teen just didn't ever get that big, you know, cherry on the sundae. I feel like I'm still waiting for the punchline for Aqua Teen. Like, we're gonna have some kind of magic 6th pick that's gonna bring everything together and blow me away.
Prepare
no, it's
for
just
battle.
Here we are.
The
Hi
only
guys.
one surprised by this is you.
Maybe you're right. This is a good opportunity to look at this weird statue that DVD has of Phoenix, looking really depressed. This is a really sad. I mean, the color scheme definitely doesn't help that fact. This definitely looks like emo face Phoenix. What's this called? The Michael Jordan #1 Frank stand? Sure looks like it. Can't believe they put Oracle in NBA Jam. We got the End of Hope. And we've got Anti-Mage now running out of base. Not really what I wanted to click on, but, you know, there you go.
30 seconds to battle.
Lots of folks we haven't really either seen before or seen from in a long time with DVD on this lineup. So, you know, you gotta check a little bit of that out. And by we, I'm referring to the caster desk, not to perhaps you in particular if you're an old guard LD2L player. Anti-mage. Definitely avoiding some danger there. 2 for 2 on the runes. Nothing too exciting, nothing too exciting. Anti-mage going to take not even enough damage, like this is going to be probably back to full by the time he gets back in the lane. I kind of like anti-mage into all these guys, but like not enough on any of these picks in particular. Like if anti-mage has a really good game and is somehow able to focus on 5 people pretty much equally, then fantastic, but if not... And that's a very hard order. I am really trying to do the best she can to... Oh, this could be first blood? It's certainly going to be first blood, yep. Bonus going down to Hollywood here.
This battle is going to go.
We'll be blunt, I don't know how great of an idea it is to trade with the Hollywood Marana as a support. I feel like that's going to end in a lot more disasters than victories on your part. You know, if you're going to be trading with somebody who lives, breathes arrows, right? Lives and breathes that skill. You almost can't be surprised when he's consistently going to be looking at predicting your movements, when he's consistently going to be landing that on you, and when he's going to be consistently winning those trades as a result. Speaking of trades, very bloody mid lane so far, with both Necro and Bloodseeker sitting around at very low HP. Bloodseeker trying to use his magic stick to get a... Ooh! Very nearly, in fact, takes out the Necro here. Necro ends up turning it around. Okay. I really thought he was just gonna walk back in the lane and just die there for no reason. He does think better of it at the very least, if that was ever an option. Support's fighting over a pull here. Got a bit of fun happening at bot lane. I gotta be blunt, I don't know about the level 1 little shredder in a lane with a Night Stalker. You're not gonna get that. You're not getting anything done with that, are you? I guess he did get quite a bit done because Undying's sitting at quite low health. I guess that was what, probably just to take out the tombstone there? I suppose it does make more sense in that respect. This is just kind of an ill-advised tower dive on Bloodseeker's part. I understand why he thought he was gonna get that, but does not end up panning out for him in any capacity. No, Slark's Curry. No, the uphill miss! That's even worse!
Wow.
That's even more heartbreaking. That reminds me of that old clip of that guy just watches some girl make this weird vape ring cloud and he just looks at the camera and goes,
See?
Anime's gonna... Oof. Quite a long stun. Gonna be a dastardly lane, if nothing else, the Mars and Marana. I do think, like I said, this is a better Mars game than the last one was. And the last one didn't turn out so bad for him anyway. It was a bad Mars game, but the enemy team, in a bit of a way, made it a good Mars game. Bugwood.
No blood for you.
No blood for you, says the bush. Got a lot of blood being spilled here, actually. And clog noises going back and forth. This really was just added to the game to make casters go insane, right? Like, I can't think of any other reason it's here. So far, mid has been quite heavily favoring the Bloodseeker. Interestingly, Marana has rotated in, I assume... Well, if she was singing about an arrow, that's certainly not happening anymore. Not with the way the creep wave is. She's singing about it. She's going for it. Arrow lands. Silence is out. Necro likely dead. Decision there made to... oh, never mind. Necro actually comes out of that on top. Good use of the Ghost Shroud there by number 1 Frankstan, who, despite a pretty considerable downturn in his last hit count, being 6 last hits down from the Bloodseeker, I believe 7 or 8 when that kill happened, has managed to get himself now 2 kills here at mid and has just hit level 6, which means that the Reaper's Scythe is now in his arsenal. It is going to be a little tough to reap most of these guys this game, but certainly not an unthinkable prospect by any regard. Anti-Mage going to eat the arrow. Mara's going to try and get in position. Spear under the tower. So the CMQ. Okay, I was about to say the CMQ slows him down enough for Anti-Mage to get out. Anti-Mage doesn't just get out, he gets the kill too. Okay, that's definitely good here. Like I said, you could definitely see some very good plays, especially in this laning phase on the Aqua team under Forcestaff lineup here. Seems like these guys are definitely smart as far as... I think this is really the biggest upside you get when you have these guys that wear so many hats like this. They're so used to being on all sides of this equation. They can see a problem, they can see a scenario, so many perspectives, and it really gives them a good idea of exactly how far they can push their luck, exactly how far they can't. It really comes out during laning phase in particular, where you have the a small amount of first calculus to do, and first sight of the game takes out the Bloodseeker. Was waiting for that one. Well, at this point, this is starting to look like a very lost lane for the Bush here at mid. With Necro now sitting on 3 kills, 1 scythe, and having even reversed his last hit deficit, he's going to be scary this game, no matter what happens. Oxy row looking for the high 5. There's one thing you can say for certain. Undying has definitely made it very difficult for the Dire to feel like they can get anything done in this offlane. Slark is sitting at the most last hits. Night Stalker is sitting at the least. What more do you want than that? No kills, which is the good news. You know, Slark does not have any permanently stolen agility. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon? Okay, Slark's sitting on 1 permanent stolen agility. Well, that ain't great. Okay, well, that basically turned this lane into pretty much as big of a wash for the Dire as mid was for the Radiant. I will say this much, I do feel like on Slark that does mean a little more than it does on Necro. Well, Necro himself could most certainly put a stop to it. Okay, is Bloodseeker just gonna get Scythe twice in a row? That would be really funny. Man hates regen runes. Seeker is definitely quite unwilling to engage really much at all with the Necro at this point, which is hard to argue with. Definitely should be thinking about using this first Rupture somewhere else. Using it on the anti-mage in top lane might not be the worst idea in the world, especially if he's able to get the silence out, though I do gotta say... Well, no, it's not all that unlikely, is it? All you kind of need is, you know, Spear, like, arrow comes out, then Spear to follow, the silence is virtually guaranteed. With the Rupture on, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't at that point. Rotation by Moran out to mid here. Second rotation in the game, first was unsuccessful. The Necro is being quite cautious. I think does well understand Marana is missing. Does well understand he does not want really a piece of this. Anti-Mage and Crystal Maiden gonna bully the Mars a little bit out here. Mars actually hitting his stick to try and get some of his mana back. Undying has also shown up here at mid. Oh, a little bit of changed history this time. Last time we saw this exact scenario, the two supports showed up, did not actually get the save for the bush here, but this time no such luck, and in fact even the rotation that comes in from the Crystal Maiden just goes down too. That's quite a good turnaround for the bush there. That's pretty much exactly what he needed at a point like this. It's going to give him a chunk of change there. That was the top net worth of the entire server. Unfortunately for the bush, even after getting a kill that big.
Dire's middle tower is under
Okay, never mind. Undying personally got the kill there, so I did take some out of it, but even after being involved in a kill that big, he's still the bottom net worth of all the cores in the server, which ain't the best spot to be in if you're a mid. I don't understand why Necro's alone in this lane. Definitely feels like this is a great time for like a Snapfire to just show up, and especially considering it's not nighttime. Like, you know, Night Stalker's clearly not going to get anything done down here. Just move her to mid, have her cookie with the Necro, everything is good in the world. We're going to get CM back in things again. Definitely should have dropped. Oh, he doesn't have the scythe. It didn't quite work out the last fight, yeah. Forgot about that. Night Stalker's actually also rotated. In fact, everybody is here except Anti-Mage now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Anti-Mage definitely a
Radiant
core that is
structures are
very
fortified.
safe to leave alone.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Even with a lineup like this, they are going to have a few execution-related matters come together for this to work. Instant use of the Rupture here, I believe, yes, on the Necro. Necro is so tanky that he just doesn't care. He's just running around left and right and then just gets killed by Slark. Which is very tragic because there's a lot of very low health people right at the moment he dies that are not going to get scythed now. This is looking like a total rout in favor of Thugwood. Anti-Mage is going to come in. I don't agree with that decision at all, to be honest with you. There's not a pick that's going to be made here or anything. Anti-Mage is missing. I think there is a bit of an assumption to be made here that the enemy team is not going to have vision up for Moonlight Shadow with this Mirana Slark combo.
I'll take that.
So far they seem to be right. See how it goes as things go on. Slark is now first place for net worth, which ain't great. Probably is not super great that Slark just randomly ate the top net worth guy in the server at like 12 minutes. In a totally miserable route. DVD trying to get some farm up here in the top lane is going to get some arenas. If this were the old Undying, or not the old Undying, if this were the old Night Stalker, could just hit flying immediately, just get the hell out of there. It's not exactly what happens.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The intimidating guy club on Radiant is just going to run the hell over Crystal Maiden in a scene that looks like it came right out of something dubious that you should not let your children watch.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're going just straight travel, so to Defiance here.
Dire's top tower
Interesting
has
stratagem. I don't think the boots of travel are really going to do Necro that much good this game. I feel like the more he's going to try and split push this game, the more he's going to be finding that boots of travel move speed to find him running right to his death.
fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack.
This is not a good splitting game for Necro by any means.
Double
It's
damage.
not going to be that long until only one person needs to be there for you to be in pretty mortal danger. Strength in numbers game for him for sure. When he's got Night Stalker around to be his heavy, when he's got the Snapfire around to give him the stun and the artillery support, then damn, he's going to be good this game. But if he wants to try and go it alone, he's just kind of putting his neck out, waiting for an arrow to come take it off for him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Especially considering he's already starting to slide a little bit on that net worth chart. Jackie Chan takes up that bounty right here. Game is slowed down very considerably at this point. We do have a 3-man smoke here though. Going into the jungle, all they're going to find is the Undying, unless these guys decide to come in and help. I don't know if this is the most advisable option here. Though it certainly is if we're going to kind of struggle to decide whether to go in or not, which we have so far. Feels like in this last fight, nobody could really decide on Dire whether or not they actually wanted to fight that or not, or if they just wanted to retreat. And it ended up costing them greatly there. Undying preys very heavily on your indecisiveness. If you stick around and don't know quite whether or not you want to actually go in or not, then he will certainly help you make the decision to not. And if he makes a decision for you that you shouldn't fight him, and then you try to do so anyway, as we just saw there, Undying gets to live for like 3.5 minutes as you slowly beat his 90 strength corpse to death, and that does not do wonders for your longevity.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Both Dire T1 top and mid gone down. No tower has fallen for Radiant so far. This is certainly looking like they're starting out taking quite a large advantage. Well, I don't want to say every lane, but both. Well, I guess it's a little more complicated than that. The Radiant safe lane won by a mile. Their off lane kind of stalemated, and their mid lost by a mile. But that didn't matter when the Bush was immediately able to reverse the momentum. And Anti-Mage is just going to randomly die at 17 minutes right after getting his Battle Fury. On the long list of things that you don't want to have happen to you in a Dota game, that is a pretty close contender to the top. I mean, it's no plane crashes directly into your computer, but it's not that far from it. That player looking around for some warding duties, but this is a very dangerous team to try and play the Vision game against. Okay, Centaur. Very dangerous team to try and play the Vision game against. That much is going to be certain. Slark is fantastic about coming in and just eating your supports whenever they try to ward basically anything. Bloodseeker is great about killing your supports. Mirana is great at killing your supports. And to be blunt with you, Mars and Undying ain't bad either. Whereas on the other hand, you can kind of walk away from Necro. Anti-Mage isn't going to be a problem for a long time. Night Stalker is certainly going to eat you. But Night Stalker is also really behind to the point where Night Stalker is really not particularly much higher than anyone on the Radiant support line right now, and is going straight for a BKB, which is going to let him walk out of the arena and let him survive decay and the Bloodseeker's silence, which is all very good stuff, but it feels like it should not be this early in the build.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It feels like Night Stalker is giving up a very large part of this game to try and survive. It's going for a low-risk, low-reward strategy. And to be honest with you, I don't know if there is much of a place to win a game with low-risk, low-reward on the Dire here. At least certainly not from where Night Stalker is sitting. I feel like it's definitely to Night Stalker's advantage more to try and get more personally, if need be, a little bit more aggressive vision, maybe some smokes out like the 4-man we just saw. They're now charging into their own jungle. look for some more stragglers. There's certainly been stragglers so far, no shortage. I mean, look at this.
Dire's top tower
That
is
was
under
a
attack.
very early scythe, but you know, the spirit was there.
Schenkers by the acre.
Okay, and Anti-Mage just randomly died again. That is really, really bad. And he gets tipped a bunch.
Dire's bottom
probably
tower
isn't helping.
has fallen.
No blood for you. No blood.
And a bush decides, no blood for you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Regen rune at bot. Jackie Chin doing his own dewarding. He'll do it all for you, baby.
I know.
Also picking up a BKB, which to be frank with you is going to mean a hell of a lot more on him than it does on the enemy team. I mentioned how a BKB is going to make you immune to the support line in pick phase, but what I didn't tell you is that it's also going to make you basically immune to both Night Stalker and Necro. And really, it's going to make it a lot harder for Anti-Mage to do anything to you until he gets really, really strong. So that's going to be quite harsh to deal with. Necro going for a Lotus Orb here, an unfortunately conservative item to be taking on a 2 Necro that had such a successful start to this game, but I do think is going to be very good for him, if nothing else.
Dire's bottom tower
A
is
few
under
good things to
attack.
dispel there, a few good things to reflect. I mean, really, just Rupture to reflect, but that's all you need. Certainly the threat thereof is very major. Bloodseeker cannot live in a world where he's getting ruptured. That is just crazy talk for him. Bloodseeker's BKB finished. Slark's BKB, I
Dire's top
believe, is
tower
on the
under
way.
attack.
And that's a really big, if that's true. Where is Slark's courier at? Oh yeah, he just got it, okay. Okay, Slark, Bloodseeker, and Mars all just finished their BKB at the same time. This is a monumental power spike for Hollywood's team. This is gonna get really bad really fast. Did Slark or did Bloodseeker just... Yeah, he just ruptured himself off of Anti-Mage's counter spell. That is really sad. Yeah, it kinda doesn't matter. Oh, Necro has shown up to just put an end to the Bloodseeker. Takes an unstoppable streak for himself, which is fantastic. Anti-Mage is getting torn to bits by a Slark out here.
Dire's middle tower
Sitting
is
on
under
quite
attack.
a decent horde of stolen Agi after that fight. Well, that was as bad of an occasion as you can get for the Dire. You know, last game I made a mention after a team fight that was a bad start to a fight for them, and they still stalemated. Well, this was a really, really bad start for the Radiant in this fight. I mean, Bloodseeker literally ruptured himself, and yet they still pretty much came out on top in that scenario. At least, you know, the gold change on Dire was far bigger, but Bloodseeker still profited for it. Slark still made quite a bit of money for it. This was basically, for the Radiant, a transfer of gold from supports to cores, which is never that bad of a trade-off. Especially for a fight that started with Bloodseeker rupturing himself.
Radiant are scanning.
How many of those BKBs were used? Definitely saw Bloodseeker use his. Slark just used his somewhere. And Mars also used his. They're down to the 8-second variant already. Question, of course, is, do they need more than 6 seconds in fights with a team like that? I don't know if they do. I think even 6 seconds is going to be very decisive in these fights. For the Radiant. It is just literally 6 seconds where the Dire cannot really make any sort of feasible offense.
All I can give us is a
Double
chance.
damage.
Mirana casts ult, smoke goes out. Snap is found. This is probably not really what Bloodseeker wants, but it'll work. Mars goes for the arena, misses the spear, and everyone sees it. Jackie Chan almost dies to the Necro, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades as he just turns it around and eats the poor sod. And also Night Stalker is there. And of course is no longer.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
This is getting really bad for the Radiant really fast. Or for the Dire, rather. Really fast, especially with Anti-Mage sitting on the King's Ransom of a bunch of random crap. You got a Battle Fury, and then you have a Yasha and a Vanguard for a sword and a shield! It only makes sense. Was he building Abyssal, like a really early Abyssal, and just changed his mind? Or was he building a totally normally paced Mantis style and then changed his mind? Well, may never know. He's certainly going for a Lincoln Sphere now, which, I mean, I don't think you need. Just get the eggs and just do it again. You can't, didn't you just show you don't need that by reflecting the rupture? I don't know. It just seems a little strange. Radiant taking out the rush bit here. There's a modestly likely chance Radiant just wins on next push. They did just drop Tombstone for that, which does make things a little more difficult for them. Poor MK. Cannot believe that didn't work. Went right down the only spot in this entire area where there was no tree. Gets himself an arcane rune, which means we're going to be able to have two arenas in fairly close succession, just about a minute apart. If we so choose to have an arena right about now, Slark is taking a look at a... Why did I almost say Lincoln Sphere 3 times in a row? That's not what that is, that's a Scotty. Slark looking at a Scotty, he's still quite far away from it. Marv's looking at a refresher orb, I think that's very redundant. I don't think that's necessary here at all. There hasn't so far been a single team fight, I would say, that's lasted longer than a single arena, for better or for worse. So that's probably not too necessary. This is going to give him a second BKB, and that's arguably going to be bigger than 2 arenas gives him, though. This mana pool is kind of low. It's going to be, I think, 550 to get arena, BKB, and a refresher orb out. I'm going to have that much afterwards. As a soul ring, at least we can pop some more into him.
Radiant's middle tower.
This is going to mean he's going to have to be, if he finishes that out, very conservative with how he uses his skills. And he has either come to that realization or just had a flight of fancy and now has decided to go for the overwhelming flick instead. Night Stalker has just finished his BKB. It's his only item. It's almost 30 minutes. This is not the best Night Stalker game that's ever happened for DVD. Now, and this is really the saddest thing, seeing Night Stalker get chased around the jungle by people during nighttime. That is kind of rough. Just has to BKB and go back under the tower here. Arena comes out, literally just on the CM, immediately eats her. Now we're looking at a 6v4 for the upcoming battle. No buyback on CM, but man, that respawn timer is short. Opponent sitting there at level 10. Aces as well. I will say this, and this is going to sound rude, so apologies in advance. I don't know if Snapfire is really the kind of hero that goes to the Pages' strong suit so much. I mean, maybe Pages is actually secretly a Snap God, and, you know, bad takes or whatever, but I don't know. Okay, let's be Seeker just hit himself with? Was that... Oh, it was Nully, okay. Doesn't matter, Necro is immediately just going down. Page is immediately following. Anti-Mage trying to get something done to the background. He does manage to get the Undying, that's about it. Bloodseeker is gonna go down here. It just hit me only now. Bloodseeker did not get the Aegis and Slark did. Which in hindsight is probably a mistake. Hindsight, of course, is 2020, but it just seems to me like it's a lot easier to kill the Bloodseeker in this game than it is the Slark, who has yet to die. And is in fact probably going to run this Aegis out before anything comes of it.
Twice.
MK showing us where on the map the enemy triangle is, though he's giving himself a sizable margin of error, just in case he's wrong.
Coin for me.
Necro's seizing this outpost here. Necro in his very Pos 3 Necro build. Necro, who has a Hood of Defiance and then is also going for the BKB. Can I understand? Well, do I?
Radiant are scanning.
No, I don't think so. These fights aren't long enough for Undying to mean much of anything. What's that gonna stop that Lotus doesn't? A little interesting. I don't think I agree with that. Aegis just expired. Slark is just... Despite Slark's Aegis going down, he's still posturing very aggressively here. Again, Necro just reflects the Nullifier. All the cores just getting eaten by Slark here.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
In the Magician are TZ still farming?
Dire's middle tower.
In the Magician
is under
tournaments, Season 2, there is a particular remark I made in one of the matches where I said that Jackie Chen kind of plays every Pos 1 like he plays Slark. Well, if I say that, I can tell you this much. You probably don't want to let the guy play Slark. You're definitely going to show you how you play a Slark match.
Radiant victory.
And that's it, 2-0 for Thugwood and the Thug Chans. Things do not start off quite well for Aqua Team. Hunger Forcestaff. What's the problem? Well, I think this one's simple. I think this is the same issue in both games. It just feels like there's not really any sort of cohesion going on. This time, they didn't even have the better draft, really, to back them up. And it certainly felt like there's just a couple very out-of-place picks here. Like the DVD Night Stalker here just felt very, I don't know, just... it was there, you know, there's definitely an attempt being made here. But I mean, Jesus Christ, DVD sitting there at 100 gold over what Mirana is sitting on. And then on the other hand, these supports basically got wiped out of the game. There's some supports that you can be level 10 at the end of the game with. Snapfire is not on that list by any stretch of the imagination. You know, just consider that Paige has only got a talent at the end of this game. At the end of this 30-minute game, Paige has finally got a talent. It's just not a hero where that's a great status to be in, basically. And that's really all you can say here. I think there's just two not-so-great executions by Aqua Teen in a row, two good executions by Thugwood in a row, and a very good display by Jackie Chen of his Pos 1 skills in both games, though skills that we're not going to be seeing much this season, so I don't know how much we can delve into on that particular topic. So, with that all being said, if you or somebody you know wants to learn Dota 2 at a casual or more competitive level, go to ld2l.gg to sign up today. If you watched this video literally right when I uploaded it, go play the game now, and we'll see you... Oh, yeah, Pos 3 Dojo, opening very, very, very soon. And we'll see you
next time.